Dr. Jeff MD here. This is not our typical Dr. Doodle. It's a video response to Brian Brushwood's The Hardest Puzzle Yet. If you like magic tricks or puzzles that you can challenge your friends, check out the link below to his YouTube channel, Scam School. In this video, I'm going to do a couple different things. I'm going to show you the puzzle that he presents, show you some alternative ways to solve the hardest problems, and also, most importantly, teach you my technique of solving problems in your sleep. Here's the challenge. We got these formulas on the table. 000 equals 6 all the way down to 999 equals 6. Obviously these aren't true right now, but we have to make them true somehow. We can use any mathematical function we want to make them true, but here's the caveat. We cannot draw a number. That means we can do plus, minus, divide, multiply, square root, anything you want, but we can't do mathematical functions such as 3 squared because we're drawing a 2, or cubed root because we're drawing a 3. I'll show you one problem as an example, but after that you might want to pause the video to try it yourself. Before I show you how to do the hardest problems, I'm going to teach you how I figured this out while I was sleeping. So once you get stuck, feel free to watch the video a little bit more and I'll show you my technique. The example problem is 6 plus 6 minus 6 equals 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. 3 times 3 is 9, minus 3 equals 6. 5 divided by 5 is 1, plus 5 equals 6. In a similar way, 7 minus 7 divided by 7 would be 7 minus 1, that's 6. This is where it starts to get a little bit more tricky. We're going to have to pull out the square root sign. 4 plus 4 minus the square root of 4 would be 6. 4 and 4 is 8, minus 2 is 6. And we know the square root of 9 is 3, so if we square root all the 9s, they'll be just like our 3's. 3 times 3 minus 3 equals 6. This is where I got hung up for a while. Taking the square root of 8 gives us 2 root 2, which is really hard to add. How do you make 0 into something? How do you make 1 all of a sudden get really big without squaring it? After getting nowhere for about 20 minutes, I decided to use a technique that neuroscientists call offline processing. Offline processing is literally figuring things out while you're sleeping. Here's how I do it. Before I go to sleep, I really wrestle with the problem, think about it really hard, but then I stop and I get ready for bed. As I'm getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, I'm not thinking about the problem at all. I'm actually preparing myself for sleep. I do what I call thinking sleepy thoughts. I intentionally slow my mind down. I tell myself I'm getting sleepy. I tell myself my eyes are getting heavier and heavier, and that it's getting more and more difficult to stay awake. I tell myself that when my head hits the pillow, I'm gonna be asleep. As I'm falling asleep, I don't try to solve the problem, but I picture it in my head. If you try to solve the problem, that's going to wake you back up. So just be calm and picture the problem in your head. It's important to know that when we sleep, our brain isn't just shut off, it's actually processing information. By using this technique, we're hoping to have our brain process the specific information we want it to. And that's exactly what my brain did. After waking up, within about 5 minutes, I was able to figure out the problem. Our typical mathematical functions can't turn 0 into something, so we have to think outside the box. Cosine of 0 is 1. Now if we can solve 1, we can also solve 0. And looking back at our 8's, the square root of 8 isn't very clean, but 8 plus 8 is 16. The square root of 16 is pretty clean, that's 4. And hey, we could square root it again and get down to 2. So for our formula, we'll just take 8 plus 8, we'll square root it again, and now we got 2. So back in our formula, we have 8 minus 8 plus 8 square rooted and square rooted again. That's 8 minus 2 equals 6. Now we'll put in our cosine of 0 equals 1 in, so that way we only have one more equation to figure out. Now how do we make 1 bigger? We can add them together, but we get stuck up to 3. We really need to make things explode and expand out, but exponentials won't work because we need a number for that. What can we do? Factorial. 3 factorial does equal 6, so 1 plus 1 plus 1. Take the factorial of all that, we got 6. We can do that with the same line up above. Cosine of 0 plus the cosine of 0 plus the cosine of 0, all factorial, that equals 6. And there we have it. Now you have a pretty cool math puzzle that you can use to challenge your friends and teachers. One thing that I think is pretty amazing is that Brian Brushwood figured these out in a completely different way. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel. I definitely recommend trying out offline processing while you're sleeping, but I want a disclaimer, it does not always work. So don't put something really important off to the last minute, assuming you'll just know the answer when you wake up in the morning. This is Dr. Jeff MD signing off, and remember, stay healthy.
Help your friends and family stay healthy by sharing this video. For more Dr. Doodles, go to drdoodle.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.